Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And all hell is broken loose. All hell is broken loose. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel, and be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So what happened? Yesterday, President Donald Trump shocked the entire world. Forget about just the United States. He shocked the entire world with his vile comments in a response to the tragic passing of Rob Reiner and his wife by the hands, allegedly, of their son. I want to read what the president wrote yesterday. He said, "A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with the mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace." So the president is saying that his son, the person allegedly that killed Robert and his wife, it was a politically motivated hit, right? They did it because they were trying to defend the. Well, that's what you're saying here. This is just insane stuff. Like, it's just insane. And it seems like Piers Morgan, who is a huge supporter of Trump, who always, tries to, look at the bright side of things whenever the president does or says something. Even him, on his show yesterday, he couldn't support the president anymore. As a matter of fact, I think he posted under that tweet or this post, wherever the president posted it, that the president should remove that. He said that. This is Piers Morgan, who is a huge Trump supporter. So I tuned into the panel yesterday of the Piers Morgan show, as I customarily do. And the title of the video of the show was called "Disgusting." Trump scolds Rob Reiner, and then I want to just quickly let me see if they put the list of people that were on the panel. I know Cenk Uygur was there. Who else was there? Jillian Michaels, she was there as well. Emily Austin was there, and of course Roland Martin was there. So when it came time for Roland Martin to weigh in on what the president had to say, he absolutely went off, and I think deservingly so. The whole panel did. So take a listen to what Roland Martin had to say here, and what some of the other guests had to say, the panelists rather had to say, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to their comments here.
After he survived the assassination attempt, if you remember at the RNC, Piers, he had that patch on his ear. They gave him a script. He was supposed to be decent, kind, meditative for the first 20 minutes. And then he mocked and ridiculed Paul Pelosi, who survived an assassination attempt by David DePape. So this is who he is. And Piers, if I may say, he's been like this for 10 years. I've been saying it. Cenk's been saying it. Roland's been saying it. Longer. For everyone waking up today, where have you been? This is who he is.
Well, where I've been, I've always called it out when he's done it after people die. I think there's a particularly distasteful aspect, and I'll bring Emily in here. When people have just been murdered, whether it's Charlie Kirk, whether it's Rob Reiner, it doesn't matter to me what their politics are. When they've been brutally murdered, the only decent, civilized, human thing to do is to just be respectful or do nothing. If your genuine feeling is what he's just ranted, well, don't say it. I'm not saying that. I don't think there's any political motivation for this attack whatsoever. But Donald Trump has made it political by inferring very clearly that this happened because Rob Reiner attacked him, and that to me is where
I disagree. I disagree, Piers. I'll tell you what I think his intention was, and I will also preface by saying he did not get the message across. I feel like his intention was, hey, everybody, look, although this man hated me, and although he had Trump derangement syndrome, he ended it, putting us together with "may they rest in peace," whatever. I feel like what his intention was even though I disagree with him, the guy died, and I'm sorry for him. He did that in possibly the worst way.
Stop it.
And I just don't feel like this is really shocking to anybody here. I feel like we've all been following Trump over the last 10 years. And as Wajahat said, that's his style. You know, you like it or not, that's who he is. This tweet was wrong, but it's not, you know, necessarily so shocking for all of us to see. And also, it shouldn't be blown out of proportion.
I actually did find it quite shocking. And I have known Trump a long time. I am a friend of Trump's, good, bad, and ugly. And I got to say, Roland, there's no defense for this.
There's no defense. I don't know what the hell I just heard. Let's be clear. He has no morals, no values, no decency, no ethics, no principles. This is who he is. This is not a shock at all. He's a narcissist. He is someone who makes everything about him. And so this is who this man is. This is who he was, not in the last 10 years, Piers, but going back to when he was descending down those escalators. Going before that, the whole thing with Obama and the birther. This is who this man is.
Well, he's always been a trash talker.
So I'm not
Roland, hang on.
Not trash talker.
Hang on a second. Look, he's always been a trash talker, right? He's a New York real estate guy. He's a trash talker.
No. Excellent. So you heard what they had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? These comments are indefensible. They're indefensible. They're indefensible. I mean, there's just no other way to. I said in another show, obviously it depends on the order in which you're watching these shows. These comments don't seem like they were made by like a human being. They don't. It just seems like it wasn't it was like a demon that wrote these. It doesn't seem like something a human being would say in a moment like this, when this kind of news comes. It doesn't seem. Certainly, it's not something a Christian would say. Certainly, it's not something a Christian would say. And if a Christian came out and said that, you would need to repent. You would need to be taken to church, and it would need to be an intervention for you, because clearly you got possessed by something. Right? Something clearly happened. Even Republicans are actually coming out and pushing back on the president. I want to read what some of the Republicans, conservatives had to say about Trump's tweet from an article that we got from USA today here. Regardless of how you felt about Rob Reiner, this is an inappropriate and disrespectful discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. That's from Thomas Massey. He said that on social media. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she wrote, "This is a family tragedy, not about politics or political enemies." And then I think who else said this? This is Mike Lawler said, "It's a horrible tragedy that should engender sympathy and compassion from everyone in our country, period." It keeps going on. This is from Russell Moore, who's a Christian conservative. He said, "How this vile, disgusting, and immoral behavior has become normalized in the United States is something our descendants will study in school, to the shame of our generation." And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And then, okay, of course, you have former President Barack Obama, who weighed in on the matter as well. What are my thoughts about this? Well, some of you may ask, why are the Democrats so hell-bent on coming after Trump? It's for things like this. Just the other day, we did a show of Steve Bannon warning that these guys smell blood in the water and they're coming. You just saw how the Republicans just rejected the redistricting efforts in Indiana because they're pushing back on all this gerrymandering. They don't agree with it. You're looking at the polling, right? The president's approval rating is at 31%, one of the lowest in American modern history. Right? The economy is gone to at this point. The cost of living is just absolutely outrageous. People can barely afford to buy homes, let alone put groceries. It's just a mess right now. And in the midst of this, while the Republicans are gearing up for the 2026 midterms, and they're trying to galvanize some support, the president comes out and makes comments like this, which is now causing his own base to push back on him. Now, of course, there are those on the fringes that are saying, no, I don't find anything wrong with this. It's absolutely okay. But those guys are the fanatics, as are those people, for example, when Charlie Kirk passed away, those people that were celebrating it, those guys are also the fanatics. There's no room for that. Because someone brought this up in the comment section yesterday. Well, what about Charlie Kirk's passing? Those people were celebrating. Yeah, those were animals. Those were animals. I wasn't amongst those people. Those were animals. If you're celebrating such a brutal murder, no, you're an animal. And I didn't support that, and I don't support that. Nor do I support these. So these people are not representative of normal human beings. These are animals, right? And the people that are defending this are also animals. This is the fact of the matter. I don't condone those people celebrating that. What's to celebrate about? No, I don't celebrate it at all. No. I don't condone that. But this here is something that needs to be called out. It needs to be called out, and it's important that a lot of our elected officials are calling it out, especially on the right side of the aisle. Why? Because what's happening now, I personally believe, is that the Republicans are trying to divorce themselves from a lot of this nonsense. Why? Because after Trump leaves office in 2028, the Republican Party is still going to be here. And you don't want the party to become so polarizing that it's going to become almost impossible to win elections in the future. These guys are also thinking ahead. It's one of the reasons why a lot of them voted in such big numbers for the release of the Epstein files. Why? Because, yeah, you may be able to threaten us now, but after the president leaves office, we're still going to be here. We're still going to be here. So to me, man, it's a damn shame. But this is what it is. This is what the presidency has degenerated into. It's unreal witnessing all of this. It's unreal. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.